This is Charlie from Red Blue Talk. This channel is about how politics and government impact people's lives. I haven't actually been on YouTube in a while. I've been doing live streams over on Facebook at facebook.com/redbluetalk. But I thought I would try a live stream on YouTube because I've been working on this one particular topic, how to vote by mail in New York. And last week I did a little movie about it that I put up on Twitter, and it seemed to attract a lot of interest based on the Twitter analytics that I was able to look at. So the topic is a little bit complicated. It's deceivingly simple. People want to vote by mail. June 23rd, there's a primary election in New York. This is going on all over the country. Elections are getting pushed back because of COVID-19. This happened in New York. There was supposed to be a primary in May, and it got pushed back to June. And in New York, the actually, I should explain, the presidential primary, right, which you basically vote for your representative who's going to represent you in the national convention for the presidential election, that got pushed back from April to June 23rd. There was already an election in New York on June 23rd, and that election was for members of the state assembly, the state senate, and it was also intended for people who are running for Congress. So the 17th congressional district, the 16th congressional district, the 2nd congressional district. There's a lot of congressional races that hit June 23. So the governor basically said, I guess he must have worked it out with the Democratic Party, and they decided, let's just have the Democratic Party nominating primary for president at the same time as the candidates who are running for Congress. So that's happening June 23rd, but COVID-19 is also happening. So how many people are really going to want to stand at a poll in close proximity to other people in New York, of all places, and wait online? It's probably going to be like a not nice day, and you're touching a door handle that's been touched by hundreds of other people. It's kind of gross. Nobody's going to want to do that. So the solution is vote by mail. So it sounds like a simple thing. Just request an absentee ballot and vote by mail. But like everything else, it's complicated because this was not really designed for COVID. It was designed for an absentee ballot was designed for a situation where you are traveling, or you are incapacitated, or you are some other reason unable to appear at the polls on election day. And the basic process in New York, as other places, is you have to request an absentee ballot. An absentee ballot is mailed to you. You fill out the absentee ballot, return the absentee ballot, and then your vote counts if you've done everything correctly. And you can do everything correctly. But the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, passed or decreed a executive order in which he said that COVID-19 is now the threat of being infected by COVID-19 is now a valid reason for getting an absentee ballot. So I did a video about it. I'm going to play the video for you right now. So video, where are you? Let's see. It should be right over here. Here's the video. Let me bump this up, and then I'm going to move it over, and let's roll that video. New York, here's a few things you got to do in order to make that happen. Here's how it works. And that's not One, working. download You can hear the it, but you can't see application it. for an Let's absentee fix this. ballot. I put the link. The wonder of live video. Let's do that again. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Get that window capture. Back. Window. There we go. Click that. How to vote by mail, June 2020. You can go to Red Blue Talk on Twitter, and you can find us there. But I want you to be able to see it, so here we go. Okay. And let's try that again. The potential to contract COVID 19 is now a valid reason for not going to the polls on June 23rd, and you can vote by absentee ballot. If you want to vote by mail and you live in New York, here's a few things you got to do in order to make that happen. Here's how it works. 1. Download the application for an absentee ballot. I put the link below. Step 2. Fill out the absentee ballot application. In question 1, you have to check the box that says temporary illness or physical disability. The governor's executive order says that if you check that box, you do not actually need to be sick. It is a valid excuse for a absentee ballot. In question 2, check primary election only, unless you happen to live in one of those 5 districts in New York State that also has a special election going on June 23rd, in which case you click the box that says any election and fill in the date June 23rd. If you're not sure of your district, call the Board of Elections, 518-474-6220. And then in step 3, you need to return the application for the absentee ballot to your county Board of Elections. There's an interactive map, link below. You click your county, it tells you the address, send your application back there. The deadline is Tuesday, June 16 for the postmark on your application. Step 4, after you get your ballot in the mail, fill it out, send it back to your county Board of Elections, but there's a deadline on that also, and it's Monday, June 22nd, so it must be postmarked on or before Monday, June 22nd, in order for your vote to count. COVID-19 is a valid, legitimate excuse for voting by mail, but there's these steps you got to take. So if this was useful to you, click like, let me know. I would love it if you'd become a Red Blue Talker, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, so that was very successful. I pushed it out onto Twitter and Facebook and a bunch of places, and redbluetalk.com I put on my website. So that seemed to kind of get the story out there. So I hope that people are going to try that. Now, I did the potential to contract COVID-19. Stop. Okay, I also posted how to get the application. If you go to that Twitter message right below it, and I'm going to try to bring this up now. Oh, man, this is like a little bit complicated. Okay, here we go. So if you go to the New York State Board of Elections website, which is where I am right now, I think I can blow this up a little bit, can I? Or is that something that only works on my Mac? I always get confused. I thought it was possible to expand that, but maybe not. Okay. I could have sworn that I could make this bigger so that you can read it. Zoom. Isn't there a zoom feature? There we go. So if you go to the Board of Elections website, there's a page there called absentee voting. Absentee voting is a fancy name for vote by mail, and it encompasses all of the reasons that were originally intended for when you can't make it to the poll. But this year, fear of COVID-19 is a completely valid reason for not actually voting in person. So you click on absentee voting, and then you can go to absentee voting, and then if you click over here, you can download the absentee ballot application, which is the first step in English or in Spanish. We download the English one, and then I'm going to bump this up a little bit. Zoom, baby. Where's Zoom? Here we go. Okay, bump that up, make it even bigger. Okay, and then in step 1, you got to check this box right here. Temporary illness or disability, right? Very simple. In step 2, you have to check primary election only if you're in New York. Okay, there is one little tricky thing, which is there are 5 districts. Most of them are congressional districts where there's a special election taking place. So you're going to, if you live in one of those places, then you would check the box that says any election held between these dates, and you would fill in 6/23/2020, and then absence ends 6/23/2020. But we're going to click primary election, and then you put your last name in here. So I'm just going to put in Smith, first name, Jane, date of birth, 03, whatever your date of birth is. '03, '04. How the heck does this work? This form doesn't work that well. March 5th, 1990. Doesn't matter. County where you live, type in Rockland, wherever it is. The phone number is optional. Email is optional. You don't have to put that in there. All they're going to do with this information is match it up to what's on your voter card to make sure that they're sending an absentee ballot to the right person. So they're going to match this to what's in their database. And then you type in your address in step 5. And then this is key in 6. You want to click mail ballot to me at, and then put in the street number and street name where you want the absentee ballot to be sent. So if your application is successful, if you successfully match the name on the application to a name that's in the voter database, then they're going to send the absentee ballot to this address. And then delivery of a general or election, skip step 7 because you're not applying for an application for an absentee ballot for a general or special election. You're applying for a primary election ballot. And then in step 8, you have to sign it and you have to date it. If you are unable to sign, then they've got a provision for that at the bottom. But that's basically it. 90% of people are just going to fill out box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, 5, 6, and 8. And that's it. And then you take this and then you mail it back to, and this is tricky, you got to do this by June 16th. You got to send this thing back to your county board of elections. You see at the top there where it says this application must be either personally delivered to your county board of elections not later than the last day before the election, or postmarked by a governmental postal service not later than the 7th day before the election day. So the 7th day before the June 23rd election is June 16. So most people are not going to personally deliver their absentee ballot application to a county board of elections. You can walk it in there. If you do that, you've got until election day. But if you're going to do that, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of voting by absentee ballot, which is to have no contact with other people. So mail it in. If you mail it in, you got to do it by June 16. Okay, so what will happen after that? After you mail in your application for an absentee ballot, you are going to receive an absentee ballot. You're going to receive an absentee ballot in the mail, and it's going to have all the same check boxes that you would see if you were to vote at the poll. It may not be the exact same document. It'll be probably on a slightly smaller piece of paper than what they give you if you go to the poll, but it's going to have the same check boxes, and you're going to check off who you want to vote for, and then you have to mail that back to the county board of elections. Now, the ballot that you receive, the absentee ballot that you receive, is going to contain the address that the ballot needs to be returned to. The tricky part of this, and that needs to be returned by June 22, which is a day before. It needs to be postmarked on or before June 22. The absentee ballot, let me say it again, the absentee ballot must be postmarked on its way back to the county board of elections on or before June 22. Okay? So, there's one other tricky thing, which is on the application for the absentee ballot, which is must be postmarked on or before June 16th, 2020. In order for that to be valid, you have to send it back to your county board of elections. So then the question is, how do I find my county board of elections? And they have, okay, on the same page, on that absentee ballot page that I showed you, they have an interactive map. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, it's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. Watch this. Zoom out. There it is. So they have an absentee ballot they have a they have a clickable county board of elections map. So let's suppose, for argument's sake, just so that I'm not quite so Westchester and Long Island centered, let's pretend you're in Niagara County or Erie County, where Buffalo is located. Click on Erie, and then it's going to show you the exact address, phone number, and fax number. Here we go. There it is. Okay? And then you would mail your absentee ballot application back to this address. You could fax it there, and under the governor's executive order, you could email it if you have the capacity to scan your PDF document or to electronically sign your PDF document. You could potentially email it. I personally think the most reliable way to accomplish this is to fill it out and mail it via postal mail, postmarked on or before June 16th. You got to get the application postmarked on or before June 16th. All right, let me just quickly check what's going on here. And there's nothing going on here. And that's my explanation of how to vote by mail in New York State for the June 23rd primary election. Go off and vote. Thanks, everybody.